Tiens, tiens, mon père, ma femme,
And welcome to everyone joining us either on Facebook or on our YouTube channel. We are still waiting for a few people who are logging onto our Zoom room, and we'll get started in just a minute. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to give the floor to Jal to unmute himself and get us started on this 2nd of July Shabbat service. Wow. That's the only word I have. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Jal, for your beautiful work, your beautiful music. We're going to continue without words. We're going to continue with a nigun. A nigun is a melody without words. It's an invitation to move beyond the thoughts, move beyond the ego, and see what lies beneath. And Diana will lead us into that nigun. It's good to be together with you this evening. And I have an announcement to make. We didn't know. We knew at some point that, I knew at some point that we would come back together in the sanctuary, what was it, a year and a half ago. But after months after month after month, I kind of lost track of when that would happen. And then things unfolded the way they did, and now it looks like it's happening. It looks like, as we have now scheduled, August 6th, a month from today almost, is the first time we'll be together in person again. But more than that, more than that, is that I can't believe I'm about to say that, but this is in fact my last time, God willing, leading services from behind this screen. I have loved every minute of doing it, being cooped up behind this desk
Woo!
and looking at you through the glass of this screen. But all good things must come to an end. And I am really excited to call this my last Shabbat. I've come to joke about, saying I'm not a rabbi, but I play one on this TV. Maybe we'll see what has happened over the last year and a half. It is not the last Shabbat that is happening through Zoom. I won't be here, but our musicians have prepared, when it's your last show, you do the tear down of the set. I think we're going to call this next Shabbat in 2 weeks the tear down Shabbat. And I think they have surprises for you to just go out with a bang on this very, very last, God willing, of all Shabbats to get, together but apart. So I'm excited for this Shabbat, and I've turned it a little bit upside down just to keep you on your toes throughout this evening. The first thing that is changing with July being here is we're entering into Shabbat with a new tzedakah recipient. Since we are starting a new quarter, July through the end of September is the quarter that we are now dedicating our tzedakah to this new organization. Before I say that, I'm going to answer Lynn little message. There will be live streaming of all our services moving forward, but this is the last time I will be sitting at this desk on this chair leading services. That is what I was trying to say. Our new tzedakah recipient is an organization that our board has selected, which is quite an amazing organization. You probably saw it announced in this week's email, but I'm just going to say a few words about it. And then Karen will invite you by sharing the link either on Facebook if you're watching there or here on Zoom so that you can go and support this amazing organization. It's called RIP, Rest in Peace, RIP Medical Debt. That's literally their name, RIP Medical Debt. And it's an organization that empowers donors like you and me, however we can contribute to, in fact, relieve millions of people from those oppressive medical debt they find themselves under. This organization is dedicated to removing the burden of medical debt for any and every individual, family, and also veterans, our veterans across America. And it uses your donations, the funds that it raises nationally, globally even, to in fact wipe out altogether medical debt from the neediest in our communities to, from the neediest on up, I would say. And it's not just that they look at and support and wipe out the debts of, the neediest around our communities. They also work with these families, these people, to help them repair their finances, repair their credit reports, so that they can start again afresh, free from all this accumulated burden. So that is the organization we are supporting, that we hope that you will vote with your dollars to approve of your board of directors choice. I'm very excited about it. So the link is appearing now on our chat, in our chat room here on Zoom, or will in a second, and then also on Facebook. And I want to give you just a couple of minutes to do that. And I want to invite, in the meantime, all of us to enter into some silence. I know usually we do the meditations toward the end of our Shabbat services, but like I said, I have turned everything upside down today. So I'm going to give you a minute to make your contribution, and then we'll go directly into a moment of meditation. You can choose, as the chat room will remain open the rest of the Shabbat, to make your donation in a little bit. But right now I'd like to invite you to close your eyes and to sit back and to find your breath. And I'm going to share with you a meditation that I shared just a few days ago in our midday meditation group that I thought would be perfect to start Shabbat today. So just pay attention to your breath and take a moment to just relax. To release any tension, any contraction anywhere on the body. To let the belly rise up, freely and fully expanding, keeping our belly soft, and releasing the muscles of the face. Like letting the muscles of the face melt. On Shabbat, as we enter into Shabbat, it is our tradition through different songs and melodies to invite into the space wherever we find ourselves the angels of Shabbat. And then our Kabbalah says that as each of us walks this earth, the story is that hundreds of angels walk before us, calling our arriving. But on Shabbat, we don't focus on those angels. We narrate down to the archangels. So I'd like to invite you to picture in front of you the angel Uriel. Uriel is the name of the angel of light, the light of the divine. It is pure light, and its job, as it moves in front of us, is to light our path forward, that we might find clarity of purpose, clarity of goals and destination, that we might usher in, as we move forward, more and more light in all the places that we go, for all the people that we meet. The angel of light, Uriel, you are I, E-L, the light of the God, the light of the One. And then on our left, standing on our left, is Gabriel, Gavriel in Hebrew. Gavriel means strength. Gavriel means courage. It is the angel that sustains us, that gives us the strength, the courage to meet life day after day, to meet life and all its challenges day after day. The angel that gives us the strength, the courage to move beyond our limitations, to reach beyond the known, beyond the easy, beyond the comfortable. It is the angel that supports our challenging ourselves to continue to grow and expand, and to become the most beautiful human beings we know ourselves to be. Gavriel, the strength of God, on our left. On our right is the angel Michael, Michael. His name simply means who is like God, but not as a question mark, as an affirmation, as a reminder that we are, each of us, like God, like the embodiment of the highest spirit. Michael is our spirit angel that whispers in our right ear, we are holy, we are sacred, we are divine beings. It is the angel that Gavriel pushes us to remember, courageously opening more and more the doors of our own spirituality to find that behind each door is Michael, the divine mirror that shows us our own image, that is the face of God. And behind us is Raphael. Raphael means the healing power of God. From Refa na la, Raphael. Energies of healing behind us, healing our past, healing the relationships of yore, healing all that we have left undone, inviting us to clean the house, to make whole what is yet to be whole, but also inviting us to make whole our self, our being, to heal ourselves, that we might also be a force of healing in this world. So whatever angel you need most on this Shabbat, if you need to find greater light, if your journey has grown obscure and you're not really sure what's next, invoke, spend time with Uriel. If you find yourself beat up, if your energy is drained from your spirit, your body, then maybe courage and strength of Gavriel is what you need. So spend time with that angel. If you have completely disowned or disconnected from spirit, if you've collapsed into the narrow consciousness of your ego's Egypt, then you need the divine mirror that Michael is holding for you. The name itself meaning you who are like God. And if it is healing behind you, for healing of past, healing of body, healing of heart or soul, then invite Raphael into your Shabbat. And all around us, beyond each angel, above and below, is the greater presence that holds us, that wraps us into her embrace, her loving care, her infinite compassion. All around us is Shekhinah, the divine feminine presence. So I'd like to invite you, while keeping this meditation going, to find the matches that will light your candles. And as you light your candles, invite through the light you are kindling the energies of that 1, 2, 3, or 4 angels you are bringing into your space for Shabbat. And as we do that, Celia will support our kindling by calling all of the angels again through a song.
May our right hand bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give us strength to face each day. And before us may our visions light our paths ahead. And behind us may well-being heal our way. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. Ve'aroshi Shekhinah. Ve'aroshi Shekhinah. bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give us strength to face each day, and before us may our visions light our paths ahead, and behind us may well-being heal our way. Mimini Michael umismoli Gabriel umelefanai Uriel umeacharai Raphael. May our right hand bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give us strength to face each day, and before us may our visions light our paths ahead, and behind us may well-being heal our way. Ve'oroshi Shekhinah, Ve'oroshi Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah.
Amen. So we have a couple of people who have emailed the office to let us know why they are lighting their candles on this Shabbat. Rochelle Gaither is lighting a candle tonight in celebration of her 60th birthday. That's amazing. Happy birthday, Rochelle. I know you're here, but I know you're staying off the camera for now. Well, we're glad you're here and celebrating your birthday with us. Elizabeth Heath is lighting a candle tonight to celebrate her valiant downsizing, which was a big undertaking to say the least, and her celebrating also moving to a nearby one-bedroom apartment. And she is sharing her deep gratitude for all of the members of Bet Aleph who have helped us taking this major project on and supported her. And we thank you also. And now you are invited as well to bless maybe the angel that you conjured up, that you have decided to spend time with on this Shabbat, and to bless that angel's presence. The words of that blessing, the blessing for the energies of Shabbat that invite all of the angels, is on page 1 of your prayer book. And we close our eyes to connect ourselves again, as in meditation, to the energies within. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So because we are nearing the end of a very long year plus, Diana selected a song that actually is on page 16 of your prayer book that celebrates the energy of next year. It really feels like August 6th, when we come together again, will be the beginning of the new year, just a month before Rosh Hashanah. It's like the pre-Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah. Page 16, it's called Beshana Haba'ah.
Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Shana Haba'ah, Birushalayim, Hallelujah.
So as you probably figured out, I lied about the page number. It's not in the booklet yet. It will be eventually once we update the booklet in October on page 16. It's not yet there, but it will be there. We continue, actually, I know for sure, on page 5, because that's where we find the call to blessing. That's where we find the Baruch Hu. In my head, I'm rehearsing August 6th, and I'm telling you to rise, but we're not there yet. Right now, we're going to rise inside, and with the words of the Baruch Hu, we're still going to bow to our higher inner divine self. Now, the blessing says, bless the eternal in the translation, but the Hebrew says, bless with the eternal. Because the eternal can't bless unless we do. We are the channels, the beings through which blessing happens. So join me in the Hebrew and the English, and thereafter with Celia in the song. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Blessed is the eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. At the top of page 6, we meet again the words of the Shema, the 6 words that are the central affirmation, the original mantra from biblical times of Jewish meditation practice. Words that call us moment to moment as we repeat them as an ongoing mantra. Words that call us to know the oneness of it all. And join me in the Hebrew and the English before Diana leads us into the song. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. The Eternal manifests as all that is. The Eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed is the name. The splendor of its presence shines eternally.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
And in the middle of the page, we continue with the words that are inscribed right after the 6 words of the Shema in Torah. The words of the Ve'ahavta, calling us to love the whole thing. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת. And we continue on page 11 with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levorech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
So, we are nearing the end of the book of Numbers in Torah, which means that only one more book separates us from Rosh Hashanah. That book is the book of Deuteronomy, which retells the entire story of the Exodus. So with the end of Numbers, we find the Hebrews encamped at the edge of the promised land. Moses is transferring powers to Joshua. Moses will not get to walk into the promised land as has been decreed by God. He only gets to see the promised land from the top of a mountain. Joshua is the one who, after Moses blesses him, will lead the conquest of the promised land. But just before that, as we are still on this side of the Jordan River, Moses assembles the tribes, the leaders of the tribes of Israel, and ahead of the time divides the land among all of the tribes. So if you were to look at that map, if you had been, like we say, in the room when it happened, you would see the map of what is about to be and eventually will become ancient biblical Israel. And what you would see is not one national entity. You would see a confederation of 12 semi-independent states with eventually a central government in Jerusalem where the temple will be built. And on this 4th of July weekend, I can't help but see this biblical map as the, if you want, the ancient united mini version of the United States, as the United States of Israel, if you want. And just as this political formation was ultimately destroyed after 1,000 years, was ultimately destroyed by what our Talmudic sages said was sinat chinam, meaning division, meaning alienation from each other, meaning breakdown of dialogue between opposing parties, and ultimately hatred of the other. Just as this political formation was ultimately destroyed for all these reasons, I can't help but wonder, on this 4th of July weekend, about what's left of this union. And the more I look, the more I grow convinced that the United States of America no longer exists. Now, don't get me wrong. As a political entity, a legal entity, America still exists on paper. What I am pointing to is the word united. That somehow for me, maybe this year, more than ever, somehow rings hollow. You cannot hold together a nation in which huge numbers of people embrace a kind of idolatrous absurdity like QAnon that really should be embarrassing, but instead is proudly displayed. You cannot hold together a nation where money trumps life, where science isn't real, where facts are no longer facts, where facts are choices, where truth is reduced to opinions, where education need not have any basis in reality any basis in history, any basis in deep analysis, where higher education itself is stifled by PC-ness, ideological conformism, and the fear of making any student uncomfortable, where conspiracy theories have become political platforms. Political platforms. Where keeping one's in power overrides free and fair elections. Or as columnist Nina Mogolnik wrote recently, where the only thing that matters is what each of us individually wants, cares about, and chooses. Where collective interest only matters if the collective I am in has been fully vetted for full agreement and fidelity to whatever the ideology of the group happens to be. And let's not forget the quasi-fetishist attachment to guns and other weapons of violence that seems to be at the heart of America. Always ready to attack anything that resembles truly life-affirming and dignity-endorsing choices. The things really that a sane, compassionate, worthy society and nation has to care about above all. So on this 4th of July weekend, I look at the map of the supposed United States as I would the map of the Israel's confederation of old. And I think to myself, that word, united, that word is a lie. That word is a lie. We are mostly the divided states of America. And maybe it was always a lie. Maybe it always was a myth inside a myth inside a myth. Maybe the Civil War to save the Union, as Lincoln thought he was doing, that Lincoln waged, was lost, despite the military victory. Maybe there already no longer was a Union to save, if there had ever been one to begin with. Or maybe living united is a vision beyond the reach of human beings. Maybe the preamble to our Constitution was aiming at higher stages of consciousness that we have not yet reached, and could be, in fact, running out of time to reach them. Or maybe we've been pursuing the wrong goal. Maybe aiming to create a more perfect union was the wrong ideal to base a constitution upon. Maybe. Maybe it was. Or maybe choosing to build a highly individualistic, highly competitive, capitalistic society, in fact, sealed the fate of ever achieving such a union. Maybe those two aims were at their core, irreconcilable, contradictions in terms. Maybe it was either a competitive, individualistic, capitalistic society or a united, perfect union. And maybe we were blind to, were ignorant of those contradictions. Maybe our forefathers were were ignorant, that they were having ideals that reached far beyond what their practical reality called for. And yes, pessimistically, maybe you might say, I feel that we are running out of time. We are running out of time to reach that place in consciousness where exists this perfect union, this state of perfect oneness, of perfect union with each other. We are inching towards that evolution of consciousness, and perhaps what is going on around us will be the last push to help us break free from the consciousness that right now it seems is killing us, and reach those higher states. But I know that these past weeks that we have been mesmerized with the conflict in the Middle East. I know that we have been watching anxiously the Delta variant overtaking the UK and taking roots here at home. I know that the building collapse in Miami has had us glued to the news, hoping not all the missing people are dead. But what hasn't exactly made the national news, nor gotten too much attention, besides the sports-like excitement of the reporters, just telling us as if they were commenting on a sport event, the record-breaking after record-breaking, that was this heat wave that just hit us here in the Northwest and in British Columbia. It's true, there could be 150 people who lost their life tragically beneath the rubbles in Florida. A death toll due in part, as some are already claiming, to the water erosion from global warming related rising seas in Miami-Dade County. And in part also to this disunion, to this impossibility of seeing each other as one, this dislocation of our human values, putting greed over people's lives because of too highly profitable beach property condos that no one wanted to fix, let alone declare unsafe, though they knew they were. But money in this disunited country of us, money trumps human lives. And I think that this story, of this building in Miami, I think this story is a metaphor for the future of America. It seems to be standing right now. America, like that building, seemed to be standing fine. Sure, there are major cracks in the foundation. Sure, global warming is threatening to make the problem worse and put the costs of fixing it out of reach. Maybe we can't fix America, just like we decided, or those powers that be decided not to fix the building. But you know what? America is standing today. So, you know what? Who cares? It's standing today. So let's keep our profits up. Let's keep everyone happy consuming. Let's keep this economy grow strong, because this is the Moloch we are all supposed to worship anyways. And let's continue unabated to plunder all our natural resources, to enslave entire communities of people around the world. America is standing fine today. It is. It is until it isn't. And you know when it isn't? It isn't at 1:30 in the morning, when all of us are fast asleep, as the whole structure collapses under us. And that 1:30 in the morning, that 1:30 in the morning is coming. The clock is ticking, and it is ticking really fast. And because we are not united, because global warming, like most everything else, has become a political football with believers and non-believers, we cannot make unified decisions. Decisions that could save not just our already fragilized civilization, but literally millions upon millions of lives. If not, the total extinction of humanity. Divided, we fail. We know that sentence. We know that claim. Divided, we fail. Divided, we are. And it would have been more fitting that the news media cover the heat wave that we suffered through. And I don't want to make dark, unmakeable comparing of death on the East Coast versus death on the West Coast. But the death toll in our neighborhood, from British Columbia to the entire Northwest, has already tripled, and maybe more at the time I'm talking, that of potentially what happened in Miami. And yet the media has given it very little airwave. And that shows where our priorities are. So what now? We might look at it all and just feel despair. It would be easier to shut ourselves off and bury ourselves in the busyness of the problems and challenges of our own personal life, to just throw our hands and ignore all of it as best we can. You know, it's true. Right now, the building is still standing. It's not quite 1:30 in the morning yet. And you know what? Someone else will figure it out. You know, our technological advances will provide us with an answer. And anyway, it's too big of a problem. You know, we are too divided. Our divisions are too deep. And who am I? This little individual in one corner of the globe. Who am I to do anything? Who am I to claim that I have the power to change anything? And that's fine as far as it goes, but I think we were also running out of time for this kind of self-talk. I don't think we have a choice. So I always go back to the starfish story. And you know the starfish story. That little girl with thousands upon thousands of starfish that have come washed ashore by the latest thunderstorm, the latest storm at sea. They're all dying now in the baking sun. And that old man who sees her throwing one starfish after another back in the ocean, that old man doesn't understand what that little girl is doing. He runs toward her, looks at her, and says to her, "What are you doing? Look at the thousands upon thousands of starfish all over the beach. It won't make a difference for you to throw the next starfish in the ocean." And the little girl looks at the old man, bows down, picks up yet another starfish, throw that starfish again in the ocean, back to life, and looks at the old man and says, "He made a difference to that one." And so the story is always comes back to your starfish. The invitation to find your starfish as the seas are rising, as the forests are burning, as the heat waves are killing us, as the glaciers are melting, as diseases become pandemics. Maybe it's time for each of us to find our climate change starfish. That one thing we can do, you, I, that one little thing, however small it might be, we can do beyond what we've already done to make that small of a difference. Find your starfish. Find your starfish and commit to it without wavering, without ever despairing. Pirkei Avot in the Talmud tells us, "Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor velo ata ben chorin leivater mimena." You do not have to complete the work. You do not. You do not have to complete the work. But neither are you free to desist from doing it altogether. I want to leave you with a poem. A poem by Dr. Kent Keith. Kent M. Keith. It's called the 10 Paradoxical Commandments. People are illogical and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyways. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyways. People favor underdogs but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs or one starfish anyways. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyways. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyways. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyways. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shut down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyways. If you find serenity and happiness, people may be jealous. Find serenity and happiness anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give the best you have anyways. Ken Yehi Ratzon. We are on page 25, right in the middle of the page. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. And we continue with a few moments for healing. Perhaps the work that we are called to not desist from doing is really ultimately a work for healing. The healing of planet, the healing of consciousness, the healing of division, the healing of hearts, the healing of minds. Ultimately, all of it is about our own healing. On this Shabbat, I would like to invite those energies of healing, of holding, in this space right now, that we might hold all those we know to be in need of healing. In our hearts, in our minds. On the Shabbat, we hold in the circle of healing the names you have inscribed on our healing community's healing list. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא. At Craig Wilson, Daniel Clark, Hillary Wilson, Phyllis and Mike Levin, Maxwell Bernard, David Mark, Richard Aaron Ben Chaim, Martine Yani, Marissa LeCabe, Pauline Morris, John Gorham, Donald Meadow, Haley Reagan, Katie Margaret Bank, Susan Austin, Chris Werner Muchel, Simon Garcia, Jerry Pettitz, Carol Caporelli, Howard Katz, Emily Bradley, Jenny Leonard, Zoe Chaya Young, Abigail Levy, Ezra Thuneman, Tom Sherierman, Zane Miller, Danielle Pace, Hesla Miller, Starla Miller, Yvette Lass, Eve Cordova, Janet Crawley, Dorinda Reagan, Elizabeth Heath. And we name in our hearts the names of those we hold in light of healing this Shabbat. ימלא רחמים עליהם, לחזקם ולרפאותם ברפואה שלמה, ברפואת הנפש, ברפואת הגוף. And we share with them a healing song. It is on page 33 in your prayer book.
From deep within the home of my soul, now let
we have reached the final moments of our Shabbat service together. We have reached page 13 in your prayer book, and we are about to share the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. But before we do, as is our tradition here at Bet Aleph, we call out the names of those you remember on this Shabbat, those who have made their transition from this level of being, continuing on their journey into the next. On this Shabbat, we hold in light of memory those who are mourning, those who have made their transition in the past days and weeks, and members who are mourning a period of Shiva. Dorothy Galliano, neighbor of the Bloom family. Alice Hoffman, Susan Hoffman's cousin. On the Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition in the past year, holding in light those who are mourning Shana, the year. Dr. Carol Stanley, Robert White, David Hittmiller, Dr. Aggie Schuler, Dr. Dijo Schuler, Jerry Crouch, Fern Danker O'Connor, Gary Marmer, Lauren Lee, Samwang Sisamuth, Sari Lou Coden, Mark Antonio Florian Corona, Klaus Schuler, Bill Harris, Michael Ruff, Irvin Faludi, Rebecca Risman, Paul Ponton, Mark Montefusco, Mark Sinclair, Carol Cohen, Carl Robert Finkelstein, Judy Turin, Ava Buyudish, Daryl Summer, Gloria Funston, Yitzchak Leib, Ben Bertha Ve'aharon, Norman Lubitsch, Marcia Whelan, Jack Cohen, Jeffrey Hollingsworth, and Francesca Tolshin. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, happens at this time of the year. Eva Ruth Ansel, Ludic Elias, Morris Burnley, Perry Stroll, Emily Swartz. And we hold in our hearts the names of those we remember tonight as we share in the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל בכרתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. And let us say, Amen. Before we share in the blessing of wine, hopefully you have your Kiddush cup ready, or juice if is grape juice that you prefer. I see Diana Rose unfortunately having Manischewitz and Celia as well. It's what? A crime de lèse-majesté. Just a couple of announcements. There is no Beit Midrash tomorrow morning. We are celebrating our first bar mitzvah of the summer, so I will be busy supporting our members through their big day, and Diana will be joining me. You received earlier today a very important email regarding high holidays. Please read it carefully. There's a lot of information there, and get ready and prepare for this unique high holidays ahead of us. That's all I have. Just very happy to have our last Kiddush from a distance as we close this journey together with blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Please join us. Unmute yourself and join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah banu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit yu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר לצפיית מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך ואהבה וברצון הנחלנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Around. And if you don't have a challah, just touch the challah through the screen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We'll close with one more song, and then we'll let go of the people that are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll get to spend a little time in our virtual Oneg Zoom room. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Diana will lead us in Hevenu Shalom Alechem. If you need the words, they are on page 22.
Shalom
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll say Shabbat Shalom and to all of you that are on our live stream. Have a great Shabbat. We'll see you later.